In Sushil Chowdhury's book Sahib Sadhu or the White Sadhu, he tells accounts of Swami Satyananda Saraswati in his travels through the Himalayas, where he first met his guru Rishi Amritananda. On seeing his great guru, he thought, "What a privilege to study with such a man." He approached the sadhu asking, "I want to learn about sadhana. Will you teach me?" "Oh, you have come," the holy man replied, "with great delight and love. I have been waiting for you for many, many years. Where have you been all this time? Come, we have much to do. We must begin our work today. I am an old man and we have little time to waste." That evening at the Guru's home, Amritananda spoke to his new pupil about Sanatan Dharma, the eternal ideal of perfection. Our time together is short, so you will have to learn quickly. You will have to learn tapasya, to endure many hardships with minimal food or sleep. You will have to learn all the great literature of India, the Gita, the Chandi and the Ramayana and other scriptures. First, we will have to study the Vedas.
I got to open up my heart and really experience what it is to learn about things that you really love. In my Western educational career, I was told that there was a required curriculum which would make me successful in the eyes of society. And when I got to East, I got to apply those intellectual skills, those learning skills, to things that I really loved, things that inspired me and really excited my soul. So there was a natural progression, a natural desire to learn.
After a week, Rishi Amritananda felt he had a real disciple, an individual of unparalleled dedication and devotion. He said, "A day will come when you will spread this wisdom in both Eastern and Western hemispheres, and you will have followers on every continent. I give you my blessings." The Guru said, "If you want to stay and be part of this country, you will need to travel with me to understand the life of a sadhu. Take nothing with you. You only need to believe that everything you need will always be provided for. Just take your faith and longing to be with God." Satyananda's search for so many years was over. He had found his Guru. His life's work was about to begin. Despite great hardships, he worked continuously with his Guru and learned about Sanskrit, the Vedas and the Upanishads. After 6 months of walking through forests and villages, his Guru came to a cave where he thought they might rest. Rishi Amritananda then began him on the next phase of learning. Together they took a vow not to sleep under a constructed roof for 3 years. During this period, the disciple learned the Rig Veda and the sacred fire sacrifice called Yagya. Some Yagyas lasted 5 days, 7, 21, 108 and even 1,000 days. Swamiji has performed 4 Sahasra Chandis mentioned in the Puranas but rarely done today. The disciple then devoted 6 years to learn all that he could about fire ceremonies as well as the Chandi, Devi Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, the Puranas and the histories of India. He shared his knowledge of the Vedic scriptures and was a brilliant and engaging storyteller. His Guru then gave him the name Satyananda, bliss of truth. From now on, you can forget about your past life, your past names, your past memories. You are now the bliss of truth. You belong to the universe. The entire world will want to laugh and sing with you. But first you must perform tapasya, purifying austerities. You must learn and practice how to sit, chant and breathe. Only then will you learn your true divinity.
Well, I was looking for something that was worthy of my dedicating my life to. And I found that material success wasn't sufficient. I was looking for something that really grabbed my spirit and made it soar. And I traveled around the world and had many experiences. And when I got to India, I felt really at home. I found nature, a vibration, a feeling. People had time and they had interest and they would spend much time to talk and share with me. So I started to learn their languages so that I could share more with them. And as I learned more language, I learned more of their philosophy and more of their practices until they became my practices. It was a natural evolution. I had a love affair. I had a love affair with Sanskrit and with the entire concept of the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal ideal of perfection. It's a philosophy that says each of us is striving for perfection in our own way. And our heart feels when it knows when we've found the path to our perfection, our fulfillment. And then there's this magnetic attraction. We're just naturally pulled along the way.
After several years with his guru, Satyananda was ready to become a Swami. He performed a yajna for 7 days, during which he performed his own funeral, and then he fed 1,000 people with khichdi he cooked himself. At dusk, he bathed in the river. Then his guru sat with him at the sacred fire, and the two worshipped at the yajna. They chanted from the Maha Navarna Tantra, Rig Veda, and Chandi Path. The homa continued late into the night. Amritananda offered him water and sweets, and with blessings said, "From this day on, you are a Swami." Satyananda Saraswati. Swa means one's own, Ami means I am. Swami means I am my own. The next initiation will be given to you by your disciples. It is for the disciples to say that they have something they want to learn from you. After a 1,000-day yajna, Amritananda left his body in 1976. Swamiji performed the last rites for his guru's body in a yajna fire while reciting the Chandi Path in its entirety. Sushil tells us his account of experiences in the Himalayas. Wherever possible, he took village paths through the mountains and along the rivers rather than walking along the motor roads. We stopped in every temple along the way. Sometimes we chanted the Chandi, other times he sang from other scriptures. He walked with such a sense of surety, such confidence, such a glow of joy and delight as if it was impossible for any harm to come to him. He used to tell me, every tree is doing the mantra with me. Every tree in the forest is holding their limbs and blessing. How can we come to any harm out here? When we stopped, he didn't just make the fire. He invoked the fire. He drew the yantra and invited the fire according to the ancient systems of worship. He never slept more than 4 hours a day. He was always sitting when I awoke in the morning. His puja was so sincere, so full of joy. He recited the mantras loudly, and you could tell he understood every syllable of what he was saying. My most amazing experience with Swamiji occurred when we went to his ashram in Rishikesh. It was like nothing I had ever imagined. His entire ashram was a single room located inside a half-acre garden enclosed by a high brick wall. There was a Shiva temple inside the compound, and the gate to the ashram opened to the Ganga. On the north wall was an altar with a murti, an image, a goddess Chandi, and also an image of Kali holding Swamiji's head. In the center was a Havan Kund. On the south wall were some cooking utensils and food. The other two walls were lined with books from floor to ceiling. I couldn't even guess how many of them he had written himself. It was incredible that this man who wandered the Himalayas and sang from so many scriptures, who spoke with such conviction in so many languages, chanted the Chandi and with such abandon, performed fire sacrifices with such joy, that this same Swamiji was a great scholar and author as well. His schedule was so regular that you could set a watch by his discipline. He rose at 4 and took a bath in the Ganga, and then came back to the ashram and sat for meditation. At the break of dawn, he gathered flowers from the gardens and performed the cosmic puja, the worship of all the gods and goddesses. On many days, we had visitors, sadhus coming down from their mountain hermitages to escape the cold of winter. He never broke his asana, but gave me strict instructions to attend to all the friends who came to share his hospitalities. These sadhus knew Swamiji and offered their hospitality to him when he went up in the mountains. Now it was Swamiji's privilege to share with them. They always sat in silent meditation at the back of the room behind the fire while Swamiji completed his sadhana. They then joined him in song and worship and shared the food.
I just focused on what I loved the most, and all the rest just stopped calling me. All of the worldly stuff just stopped knocking on my door, or a lot of it did. And where the worldliness knocked on my door, I looked at ways that I could utilize those relationships for the benefit of my extended family. I have a new spiritual family that's growing continuously. And I look for ways to harmonize my worldly skills with the needs of my community. So after 25 years of being a sannyasi, I became a grahastha. And after many years of wandering in the pathless forest of the Himalayas, I came to America, and now I'm the administrator of a large family. And the family has an ashram, and they have cars, and they have many people that are traveling around the world with us. And that requires a considerable amount of administration. And I help with that as well as try and teach spirituality.
Swamiji's way of life was so full, so complete, so perfect.